All right, we're live again, Jamie. Memphis MonsterCon. We're on the road to Memphis MonsterCon. Happy belated anniversary, my friend. That was Saturday. I hope you had a good time. And
Oh yeah. Stayed at home, cooked dinner, and just chilled out.
did you do the steaks and the lobster tails?
Oh
Did you
yeah.
half-ass? Okay, you didn't do you didn't change your mind to microwave dinner. So I'm proud of you there. Good job, my friend. We got a fun show tonight. It's another Tuesday night in the road to Memphis, and our guest last week was having internet issues, and this week she's able to join us. So, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Nightmare Vixen.
Hey. Round of applause.
Round of applause.
How's it going?
Welcome to the show. What do you like to be called, Nightmare or Vixen?
Most people just call me Amanda. I
All
get
right,
called
Amanda
a lot of
works.
things, but we'll just do Amanda.
All right, we'll stick with Amanda then. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Good to see you. Sorry you had internet trouble the last time.
Yeah, it was beginning of the storms started coming in and it threw our internet out. Thankfully, that was the only thing we had going on. So we're up and running this week.
It happens. Me and Jamie already know since we've started this, if we didn't have technical problems, we wouldn't have a show, and we continue that road to Memphis and continue the trend. Hopefully tonight we break it. But again, welcome, and why don't you let everybody know a little bit about you?
My name's Amanda. I'm from Nashville, Tennessee. I've been running Nightmare Vixen for a little over a year and a half now. I was with another partnership before that for about 7 years. So I've been in the convention circuit for a little over 8 years now. So finally doing it solo and selling all of my art and different boutique stuff. So I'm really excited to head to Memphis next month. So
How long of a ride is it for you to Memphis?
I'm thinking it's about 4 hours.
That's not too bad.
So it's not too bad. Yeah, I may be completely off on that, but I think the last time we looked, it was about 4 hours. I haven't headed out that way in a while. So
I think depending on what part of Nashville, like if you're on like further east, it's probably about 3.5 hours. I live on the outskirts of Memphis, so it takes us about 2 hours and 45 to 3 hours, depending on traffic.
Yeah, I'm more kind of central based Nashville. I'm literally about 10 minutes north from downtown. So
just going through the chat. So you got 4 hours. So you're already in the same state. It's kind of like me going to St. Louis from Kansas City. That's usually the longest trek. Like I went to Des Moines, Iowa. The longest part was just getting out of Missouri. So I understand that, even though you're in the same state, it can be a little longer. I think it's only about a 6-hour drive for me, which is smooth sailing. I'll take 6 hours any day of the week. And I kind of enjoy those long drives. I don't get a lot of them by myself, so that'll be a nice one.
Yeah, I think it's 8 or 9 hours tip to tip from Tennessee.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, it's I've driven through Tennessee on my way to Florida a few times, but it feels a lot closer when you're going to Florida. It's like, oh, I'm only in Tennessee. Where if I was on my way to Tennessee, I'd be like, oh man, another 5 hours to Tennessee. But you get used to it after a while. Like
I've got a show in Florida in a couple of weeks, and it's a 12-hour drive. So yeah, I'm looking forward to just going to the Memphis one.
I've gotten that way myself. Like I did Carolina, had a great time, at Carolina Fear Fest, but it was a good, 18-hour drive or so, with stops. That wasn't the longest one. Last year was a pretty long trip, but that was the longest one this year. The next longest one I think is Kentucky, and that's 10 hours. Yeah, I'm cutting them down. I'm cutting them down under, 8 hours. I said I was going to do it last year. This year, there's a few I gotta do that are a little bit longer, but it's not a wear and tear on me, but it's a wear and tear on the truck over time.
Yeah,
and the way vehicles are now, I don't want to buy one anytime soon.
Exactly.
So yeah, I'm excited about Memphis too. Let everybody. So what are you planning on bringing to Memphis? What is your idea? You got your area planned out or a good idea of what you want to do?
One of my main things that has really taken off over the past couple of years is something that they're called my nightmare gnomies. And I take and I make different actual gnomes that go in your yard or in your house, whatever, and I make them into horror characters. I make some even into superheroes and different things. That's probably one of my biggest things that I have, that I create. I also have my paintings, drawings, my photography. I do a lot of even horror boudoir. Um, and then I carry like pinup style dresses and some really unique pieces. So it's got a little bit of all of my little macabre art and flair.
Well,
So I'm
we love
excited to
unique
head
in the
that
crowd.
way.
We love the unique. I know you're a big fan of it too, Jamie. Like a lot of people have some really cool stuff, but when you see those unique items, those artistic items that you're not going to see anywhere else, always cool. Michael Toast here does a lot of my art, like these skateboard decks behind me. Stuff like that. We really
Mhm.
love. It's cool to see artists like yourself doing things and presenting something that you've thought of and you're doing something really cool with, and the fans are really embracing it. We've had a few people on, Jamie, already that have gotten into that field and really caught on with their individual merch. The
Mhm.
Coffin Creeps, that guy's been killing it with his merch. And sometimes it's
Mhm.
those cute slash horror things that the fans just they go nuts for. And I get
Mhm.
it. I get it. It just reaches men, women, their kids. It doesn't matter. It reaches everybody. That horror fans love this stuff. So very
Mhm.
cool. Very cool.
Yeah, especially any like unique thing, because a lot of horror people like know what they collect, but when they find something different, it just makes it even better.
Mhm. Yeah, I like bringing up characters that you don't necessarily see very often as well too. Like one of my favorite movies is Behind the Mask, the story of Leslie Vernon.
Yeah.
One of my favorites, and I've actually created one of him. I made a gnome of him. And so when people see that one, some people ask me like, who he is, and I'll explain it to them. But then you get those few that come in there and they see it and they're like, oh, I have to have him, because you don't see his stuff very often. So I like to try to use, not just your typical, you know, favorite characters. You've got your Freddy, you've got your Jason, you got your Michael. I like to use other characters as well. So, and when I see people that actually enjoy those, it makes it really cool.
Yeah, I've actually got a Scott Green story. Who played Herschel, and he was in that movie. He passed
Mhm.
years ago. But when I was doing all, on the con circuit all the time, we ended up a bunch of folks going back to his hotel room, and he's like walking around with like a bottle of Jack Daniels, just like pouring everybody drinks and stuff. It was awesome. It's
That's
super.
awesome.
Yeah, I heard he was great.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
That's
really
awesome.
kind of was a leader kind of deal. Even the character he played in The Walking Dead, from what I've heard, he was that father figure who always was
Mhm.
just a lot of fun, and everybody gravitated to him. So I've heard that about him at conventions from more than just you. So that's always cool
Mhm.
to hear. And rest in peace.
Yeah. Yeah, he kept that diagnosis silent. So when I heard
Mhm.
it came out of nowhere.
Yeah, yeah, I remember. And at least The Walking Dead had a nice tribute to him at the end when on the Rick's final episode. Rick's years ago, and I guess he's back now. But he was the best part of The Walking Dead, and he's had so many great movies anyway. You know, so rest in peace, Scott. But yeah. So, what's your favorite gnome you've done? I mean, is that the one, or
Uh,
is
it may be excuse me, it may be my killer clown, it may be my shorty gnome. I actually did one of those. I've done a few of those. That's probably one of my favorite ones to do. Um, but my Leslie Vernon is up there with it, and, I do a Sam from Trick or Treat.
Love Sam.
That's probably right up there with it.
Too funny. That's kind of been the hot items over here too. We just sold a Trick or Treat deck, and we just saw the Chiodos, and you can kind of see there's some Killer Clown decks behind us, which were really cool and really fun in the black light. Yeah, so yeah, we love the Killer Clowns. It's got to be fun as an artist. I know Mike enjoys it with all the different colors you can use and just make it kind of really pop out. You can't beat a clown when you're painting. You just can't, especially a Killer Clown.
Yeah, my 10-year-old actually, it's one of his favorites. We actually made him a costume of Shorty a couple of years ago for Halloween, because they didn't have them in kid sizes then. So we created our own. And so that's one of his favorite ones that I paint too.
I mean, it's one of those movies too where it's a great horror movie, but you really can let the kids watch it because it's not too. I mean, it's got some scary scenes, especially if you're not a clown fan. And I know a few of them. I work with a few of them, and that are scared to death of it. But if you're going to take a kid,
that was me. I was terrified of clowns, and then when I started doing conventions, it kind of got pushed to the side. Yeah, I kind of got a callus built up for it. So
I'm gonna have to deal with it.
Exactly.
Yeah. I've met people, and I didn't realize until I really got into this how scared some people are of clowns, like genuinely petrified of clowns. It baffles me because I get it, but I don't know. I mean, I grew up Ronald McDonald. I grew up as a clown, and it wasn't scary clowns when I was a young man, many moons ago. But I guess Ronald McDonald got scary over time, and then you get the It movies and Killer Clowns, and Ronald McDonald got the boot from McDonald's. He ain't even there anymore. You're out of here, Ronald. You're scaring the kids now. No more skating on ice with them for you.
Yeah, now I think he's fronting a band called Max Sabbath.
Max Sabbath. That's stupid.
If you haven't seen them, you got to
no.
All dressed as like McDonald's characters, and they play like it's a Black Sabbath cover band. It's hilarious.
Oh my God.
Too funny. That's too funny. Oh yeah, I miss Ronald McDonald a little bit. He was kind of cool. I miss the commercials back when I was a kid. They were kind of special moments when I was a kid, because I was born in '76. In the '80s, those Christmas commercials were big, and then the polar bears came out with it. And poor Ronald got the boot in the early 2000s. Now I didn't realize they were gone. He was gone until I realized he was gone. But let's be serious too. As a kid, it was fun to go to McDonald's. Now it's just
oh yeah, you burn like half your skin off going down the metal slides at McDonald's back in the day. They didn't have all the plastic and the foam when we were kids.
I can't remember the last time I actually went to a McDonald's.
I went this weekend because with what I do and my guys, I was like, you guys want to go to Chili's? Nope, they wanted to go to McDonald's. So, and I'll tell you, it's not much more expensive to go sit at Chili's than it is to get McDonald's. I mean, it's like $10-12 a meal. Trash. I mean, the quality has gone like way down, and I try not to eat too much. I might grab a McDouble. I can't remember the last time I had like a quarter pounder. It's usually like, all right, well, let's try to, where McDoubles were like $2. Now it's like $6 for 2 McDoubles. But the value meals, I'll buy them for them. It's $12, $13, $14. You want to go large? There you go. There's 16. Could have gotten them lobster tails, Jamie.
Right.
Oh, I miss those days. It's just not as fun anymore, but at least we got conventions now, and I guess the internet. The conventions being so big now, Memphis, everywhere you go is a cool convention. You get to meet all these things. So I guess we lost some things, but we didn't have conventions like we do now, and that's, to me, a little bit more exciting than you, Ronald McDonald. You got outvoted. You got voted off the island. So what kind of shows are you on the road a lot to conventions, Amanda?
Yeah. I have 3 back-to-back for October. I'm typically do at least 2 to 3 conventions a month. This is what I do full time. Like I said, I'll be believe in Atlanta next weekend. I'll be in Orlando the weekend after, and then I'll be in Lexington the week after that.
Oh, so you'll be at Scarefest as well?
Yeah.
I'll be sitting there.
Awesome.
So we got the aliens. We got Carl Toop sitting with us at the Doomsday.
Awesome. Yeah.
Alien Warrior from Aliens 1986. I'm excited about that. Because it's something different. The Aliens franchise going.
Yeah. I'm so stoked. I haven't been to Scarefest in a couple of years, so I'm looking forward to getting back in there. So
there's such good people at Scarefest.
Oh yeah, they're great.
Brandon, Nicole, and Adrian, who kind of
Adrian, she's my girl. Last time I saw her was in Knoxville at CreepyCon. A couple months back. Yeah,
they travel.
She's fantastic.
That's a great thing about Scarefest. They definitely travel around and look things up. And honestly, the 2 biggest shows, my most excited shows, are back to back in a sense. It's Scarefest, and then I'm on my way to Memphis.
Memphis.
I really am. I've really gotten to like Jamie. I think he's going to pull off an amazing con this year. It's doing the shows with him has been a lot of fun. Having great guests like you on the show and others we've had has been a lot of fun. And I think it's going to be a blast in November. Plus, my mom will be there in her scooter, scooting around, and she's all excited because she's going back to back Kentucky and then to Memphis. So it's been a little while for a convention for her. It's been a while since she's knocked over a table with a scooter or run somebody over. So, she's itching.
Yeah, we actually just did another walkthrough at the venue today, and it looks even bigger than it did the first time that I went through there. But we're just mapping things out, and had some of my other business partners come in. They weren't in on the initial tour, so they got to come in and check it out. They've been there before because they used to hold the flea markets and stuff. And then during COVID, they actually had 2 big bay doors you could drive through and get your COVID shots. It's just drive through. Yeah, so it's a little bit of everything they've done there. They actually do roller derby there still too. So.
Oh, that's awesome.
You want to pay for parking or you want your COVID shot? Pick your poison. Parking's 100.
But that's another good thing about the venue is it's got tons of parking around and it's all free.
Yay.
Yeah, that is cool. That is cool. That's unheard of.
Yeah.
Luckily, I was in Des Moines.
As affordable as possible to anybody, to get in, check it out. No extra little fees, parking, this and that. Spend your money with vendors and with the talent.
And you got such a great show, and you just, you were done adding guests like we talked about. And I think there's been about 3 more guests since he said he was done announcing guests. But you're really going all out to not only bring really cool guests, but like you said, an affordable weekend for a family to go where, it's hard to find fun things to do with the family. And to be able to do a weekend, you go to Disney World or something, you're spending a ton of money. But if anybody who's never been to a convention, to be able to do an affordable thing for the weekend with your family, even if you're not a huge horror fan, like my mom wasn't, like my mom and dad, I would never expected them, but it's something that the family can really bond and get close together. And you meet so many great people, you meet so many different people. It's such a melting pot of different people, but amazing people all over the place. And that's what I personally love about conventions.
Yeah. And we're still, we did a spooky season special today, 20% off weekend passes.
I saw that.
That's great.
How long's that running to? Is that just for today? Was it a flash sale or?
It's for the next couple days, but it's use promo code spooky at checkout and you get 20% off weekend passes. So I think you get weekend passes for $32 in tax.
That's awesome.
2 days for $32. That's not bad.
No, that's not bad at all.
That's cheap.
Yeah, with the parking and with the passes, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, free parking right there is huge. I mean, that's a huge expense. That's, at a lot of places, at least $20, give or take. And,
Anywhere around Nashville, it can go up to $80 for parking, depending on your location. It's ridiculous.
yeah, that is ridiculous. So, I mean, if you got free parking right there, if it was $80 for parking, like you're saying in Nashville, I mean, that's
depending on where you're at. Yeah, it can go anywhere from 20 up to 80. And if you pay the 20, you're probably going to have to Uber to get there. So it's ridiculous.
There is a lot of walking when you go to a convention, and have to do most of it outside just before you're already exhausted before you get in through the door from walking is kind of brutal. But having free parking is great. I mean, you can't. I mean, to save that expense, especially. Am I getting feedback or is it?
No.
Okay. I just want to make sure. I was gonna say we were going way too smooth. Something's got to go wrong. But yeah, it's just saving right there. If it was like $80 for parking, that's 2 autographs or 1.5 autographs right there, or something really cool you can get from a vendor. So to have that free parking, that's basically Jamie giving a gift for somebody to buy something with the family. Spend that extra money. Could have spent it on parking, but
if you're traveling, we also have some rooms left on our block at the Holiday Inn that's not too far from the convention. Actually, that's a pretty nice Holiday Inn. At the comic shop, whenever we bring in artists and writers, we always put them at that Holiday Inn, because it's right there. It's right between Midtown and downtown, so you're kind of, right there in the mix. If you want to go,
I'll be checking that out. I've got to get my room for there.
Yeah, I'll shoot you the link for the discount. So
that'd be awesome.
If anybody else needs it, just shoot us an email, memphismonstercon@gmail.com, and I'll shoot you that link.
Yeah, I shared it out earlier today too. I put it in a couple of the convention groups as well. Speaking of sharing it out, I want to share this out. But let me a little slow here. All right. So, all right. Back to everything. Give 1 second. I can't walk and chew gum. Doing a little sharing here. Sharing is caring. And there we go. So it doesn't go to my group, and I want to make sure I can send it to the group. All right, here we go. I am back to focus. I'm done chewing gum, so I'm back to walking again. So one of the things I was excited to hear about that you're doing was adding the Return of the Living Dead. I've had a lot of people talking to me about that. We're in the 40th year, right? It's the 40th anniversary of
the 40th.
Yeah. But I think that's cool. You got a lot of reunions going. We got Return of the Living Dead. You got Ken Foree and Tyler Mane, which is a slight reunion at Halloween. Rob Zombie's Halloween 1. Maybe we can have another battle of Michael Myers versus Joe Grizzly.
Yeah.
I'd like to see that.
Then we got Friday 13th, Part 6. We got Tom and CJ.
I love CJ.
Devil's Rejects. We got Tyler Mane, Ken Foree, and Dave Sheridan. We got why am I losing train of thought?
Felissa Rose. You got Felissa, who's great, but her and Dave are like almost a package deal in a sense, because they are such close friends. If and I don't want to say they've been in some indie movies together. I've watched Go Away. I know they were in together, and they do a lot together. So that's almost like having a reunion in a sense. Whenever David and Felissa are there, it's fun.
What they Victor Crowley. You got Dave and Tyler.
Yeah, and Felissa.
Yeah.
I mean, you just name movies, and a lot of times it's like, wow, I forgot they were in that together. And that's the cool part about it. So there's really a lot of reunions going on that weekend at Memphis. You got the Texas Chainsaw Massacre reunion. In a sense, you got a bunch of them. Let's see, I like the Friday 13th. Tom and CJ are a lot of fun. You were saying, Amanda, you love CJ. Everybody loves CJ.
Yeah, he's hilarious.
He is. And
He's
Tom's
a
such a
trip.
laid back blue collar guy. I mean,
Mhm.
I think was it me and you talking last week or so? We were saying how down to earth Tom Matthews is, and he's just, if you didn't know him as Tommy Jarvis, he'd just be, one of those cool dudes you'd definitely have a beer with or something, just because he's so chill. So it's always good to see CJ and Tom Matthews. Actually, I saw CJ last weekend in Des Moines. That was pretty cool. But I was so busy, I didn't really get a chance to talk to too many people. I had my hands full. I was doing the table and I had my individuals with me. So I pulled it off. It was a lot of fun, a lot of juggling, but it was cool. We had a good weekend out there in Des Moines at GalaxyCon. That was the first time there.
Yeah, I like the GalaxyCon. Like I said, we did the Louisville one just before COVID, and that was a lot of fun. Got to meet Kane there, Kane Hodder. So
he was
Kane's
there,
great
David
too.
Howard Thornton. They had, who's my favorite? One of my favorite people to meet is Denise Crosby. She is so sweet, so cool. One of my individuals is a huge Star Trek fan, a huge Pet Cemetery fan. And I almost forget that she was in The Walking Dead sometimes, and she had a great role in that too. But she's done so many iconic roles, and she was just so sweet to my guy, and I can't praise her enough. I got to meet her in Chicago, but she might be up there my favorite celebrities to meet anywhere I go. If I see her, I'm definitely going up and saying hi at any con she's at. Just a hint, Jamie, for the futures. Those Pet Cemetery people, Miko Hughes and Denise Crosby and the rest of them are really, really nice.
I guess Ken would probably be my favorite. Ken Forey. Like, I talked to him on the phone last week for like an hour. He's like, "Hey, call me," and just called, and we talked a little bit of shop, and then the rest of the time we're just talking about different cons and what you've been doing and stuff. I mean, it just blows me away that like I'm on a conversation for just a long conversation with Ken Forey.
He is a cool dude. I've had the opportunity to run into him a few times, and he's definitely not one of those guys who's just going to push you off in a conversation. If he's enjoying the conversation, you're going back and forth with him. He loves to have a good talk about, pretty much anything. He's like, "Oh, you got any grandkids?" I go, "Yeah, our kids." I'm like, "Well, my kids are grown, but I just had grandkids, so he wrote out an autograph for her." And, I mean, that's just him.
I think he graduated from Purdue, and because he's from Indiana, and they made it to the Final Four, and they had Zach Edey, who was National Player of the Year in basketball. Well, the Memphis Grizzlies drafted him, so I'm like, then we started talking about that, and
the Memphis Grizzlies to becoming Joe Grizzly. It was destiny. Destiny. Yeah. I mean, you got like we always go back and forth about. I was not back and forth, but I always got to praise all the people you got coming, because most of them I've had a chance to meet, and each one's always like, I can't say anything except for how great they are with the fans and their interactions, and people who haven't had a chance to meet any of these guests are in for a super treat, because they're all really cool, really down to earth. And, you bring up the right topic to them, you never know. They'll sit there and talk to you for a little bit about it. You just got to know. You catch them with something, and it's like, okay, we're in a full blown conversation here. All right, I got to pull out my facts book. All right, what are we talking about? All right, yeah, let's discuss this movie. That's like Tom. Tom's a big fan of like the Return of the Living Dead, and he wasn't a big fan of part 2. I understood, but he's embraced it over the time. And part 6, he's such a big fan of, and like when we had him on the show, before the show, like I told you, he was showing us stuff that you'd never seen before, stuff behind the scenes, the clippings and this and that. So maybe you could, if you talk to Tom, you can encourage him. I heard you got some really cool stuff that people haven't really seen. Maybe we could display it out here in Memphis. You never know.
Yeah. Have a Return of the Living Dead.
I think I'm losing. One of us is getting bad connection. I don't know if it's me.
It's usually me.
Yeah, we're almost 30 minutes in. It's been way too smooth, Jamie. Way too smooth. And that's not how we roll. So we had to have a little bit of have a little lag or something. I mean, because if something didn't happen, something really bad's gonna crash. So You know, knock on wood, we got it out of the way. We got a little delay, and yeah, it's going to be such a great time in Memphis. I'm incredibly stoked. I got such a busy road to it, and that's why I love the road to Memphis Monster Con, because it's my final con of the year, at least planned. I think it's going to be, though. I think I'm going to be done for. Well, I got a 2-wheel drive pickup truck in Missouri. I don't want to start planning road trips in a 2-wheel drive pickup truck anywhere, with snow. You just never know. So yeah, I can officially say, well, I can't, and take a break and be lazy from cons for a little bit. And not that I'm excited about it. I'm excited to finish 2024, because, as you know, you're doing Scarefest as well, and then Memphis right after. Couldn't ask for a better back-to-back weekend. Actually, really, Halloween Palooza, Scarefest, because Halloween Palooza's got a lot of the Nightmare people. I've had the honor to get to know a few of them, and amazing people, and then going to Scarefest and followed up by Memphis. Couldn't ask for a better 1, 2, 3 con. I don't know why. I mean, it's pretty exciting. Carl Toop being at the Scarefest table, the Alien Warriors, Xenomorph from Aliens, and then doing the panels with Memphis Monster Con for Jamie. It's gonna be a fun show. It's gonna be fun having the family there. You bringing any family? Is there any certain family members that have to come and hang out with you? I know a lot of us have that, and they've enjoyed the experience.
For the next few, I'll probably be rolling solo. My kids kind of like to go with me sometimes. They're just now turned 10 and 13. They may go to Memphis. We'll see. Depends on how we can do school. But my longtime boyfriend, he may go with me. He was one that he was not a horror fan. He was not about conventions or horror or anything. And then he met me, and now it's completely changed. It's tattooed up and horrored up, and
but it's like I said, it's one of those things you might say, it's not for me, it's something I don't like, until you go there and experience it. And I bet you now I'll say I can only go for you, but he deep down probably it.
I've got a friend that's going to be at Scarefest, and he's a horror author, and he's actually coming to stay with us in Nashville before we both go to Scarefest. But he's immersed in it now. I'm like, yeah, you're suckered in. You're part of the horror community now. You might as well just embrace it,
That's like my mom and dad. I can't believe how much they're into it. Because if you ask me if they'd have, no freaking way. No, I mean, they honestly love it. They might like it more than me, and that's crazy. Yeah. I know I've gotten, and Karen will tell you, she's out there. She was in Kansas City. My dad don't play. You better be working and working hard. He will call you out. He called me out. I was like, sorry, Dad. I hadn't felt like that since I was 12. Sorry. But no, I appreciate it, because they take it seriously and they really enjoy it themselves. So
yeah, it's like he told me, he's like, he goes, I never would have thought that I would have enjoyed this. And some of his best friends, do conventions now, and he's met celebrities that he never would have met before. He's just immersed in it, and we're about to get his sons to start coming with us some now. He's 18. So we're going to slowly get him to come over to the dark side now. So,
just you take him in the van, rent a darked out van, and just yank him in there and take him on the road trip, and he ain't going to have no choice.
Yeah.
But I mean, most people, like you said, and that's the experience I've seen people, even if they don't like the horror movies, they're going to see an actor that, they've been in horror films, but they might have been in Star Trek. They might have been in The Walking Dead. They might have been in Charmed. They might have been in a show that you really loved. And it's like, I didn't realize you were in that and this. And it's, these actors aren't just horror actors. A lot of them are really good actors that have been in other things. So it's more than that, just to meet horror people or horror this or that. And there's a lot of people that go to, say, a horror con that are into anime or comics or something you might be into as well.
Yeah, we were set up at Anime Blues Con here in Memphis, the big anime convention, and we were passing out flyers for Memphis Monster Con, and some people were like, "Oh my God, this is awesome!"
Yeah, you just don't know until you get there. I mean, I always say to everybody, you gotta experience that at least one time. If there's one in your area, go hang out, bring a friend with you, bring your girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever, your kids, and enjoy it. Even with what I do, it was, especially what I do in the field I'm in, there was a lot of reservations. Going to a horror con, I don't know if that's, appropriate, this and that, and blah, blah, blah. And then they kind of seen what goes on and seen how much the guys enjoy it and how much of a family and community and environment that a horror convention brings. Because it's not just the vendors, it's not just the guests, it's the environment, it's the whole vibe that a convention, and mainly horror convention. I mean, still Comic-Con conventions. I've been to both, but there's definitely a different vibe for me. I prefer the horror vibe, but I love both though. I mean, I'm not even a big anime person, and GalaxyCon's one that really mixes the two up. So I enjoy seeing the anime people walking around like a Mario walking around with Luigi. I mean, it was kind of cool vibe, and it's just it's such a different world. You can pretty much integrate everything. Like you even had wrestlers, RIP Kevin Sullivan. That was tough to lose, but I mean, a lot of the wrestlers, bands, music, the crossover with conventions and cons, especially horror cons, is really next level. Like things that just surprise you. And a lot of these old 80s actors I found are really talented musicians, whether it's Ari Lehman, and not even just 80s, but horror 80s, Walter Fallon. Let's see, Courtney Gaines is a talented musician. Andres Jones plays music. I mean, a lot of these guys, and they're not just musicians or I just play guitar. They're actually really, really talented musicians on top of them, playing for some years. So it's always cool to learn something new about some of these people that maybe you hadn't seen in a while, or you didn't know what they were up to, or you just didn't realize they had that in their life. It's like Tom Matthews. You wouldn't know he redoes houses. He works on $1 billion homes. He literally does the conventions because I think he enjoys talking about his movies and genuinely enjoys the fans. And that's a
contractor on Ozzy's house.
Yeah.
To rebuild.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, it's not, and that's always a positive. And I know a lot of these guests, they're in bad shape. Tom certainly is, and they do it for the fans and really for themselves too. They genuinely, you got guys going that genuinely enjoy the fans. Brett's the same way. He enjoys meeting the fans and people telling him stories or bringing up a movie that's not even just, the Kemper Kill or the Crazy. Some of the shows he's been in, like Drake and Josh and all these other things, or the voice of Monster Garage. You see that with a lot of these different fans. They'll find something that was so obscure they were in, and the actors love talking about it. It's like, cool, I haven't been able to talk about it, and they'll talk about the experience, and they'll be like, oh yeah, I know him, and it's so there's just so much conversations that can go with a lot of these guests you got. They're not the quiet type. Most of the ones you have, they're all. Felicia's one who just loves the fans.
Felissa loves to talk. Yeah, she's so sweet. She's one of the sweetest people I think I've met doing the shows.
Yeah, Dave's great too. I've gotten to know Dave as well. Tells me I got to put on sleeves and stuff like that. I might wear sleeves for one day just to go. But I don't know.
Felissa did a convention here in Nashville. I think it was around Easter, but it was her birthday weekend. And one of the things that I sell in my booth are mini shot glasses. They look like little Stanleys. And they have little straws with them. And somebody had come and bought her one for her birthday and took her a shot over there. By the end of the weekend, I sold out of all of my mini shot glasses because people kept coming and buying them for her. And she was just giving people out shots during the whole, like all Saturday night. By Sunday, she was doing a few, but it wasn't as much. But she was having a ball with those shot glasses.
She
She's
always has. I
hilarious.
don't think I've ever seen her like in a bad mood or anything at a con.
Mm-mm.
She's just full of energy, and
Mm-hmm.
she's a lot of fun, like you said. Dave, basically is our sidekick. I don't want to say sidekick, but they're a team.
They're always together, even at any shows. They're always side by side. I mean, they have such an amazing energy
Well,
together.
it was funny. I got a good story. It's like my guys I take, their special needs, and they got to meet them in both of them in Kansas City, and Felissa, spoiled with some free autographs for him, and that was really nice. And of course, Dave had to up his game and even signed one of his doofy the ghost face or what do they call the mask? His mask, well, the Scream mask
Yeah.
from the movie, the scary movie mask. And signed one of them for him. So it was really cool watching him like, okay, I'm going to make sure he likes me even more in a sense, but they were both so nice to my guys and genuine. So I got a ton of respect for both of them. And that's why I might actually wear sleeves one day for about an hour for Dave, just in his honor. Just say, hey, Dave, thank you, my friend. Or maybe I'll just shorten the sleeves and really make my arm show for him.
There you
Know
go.
how white it is underneath.
Make you a tank top. Yeah.
The tan lines, the old farmer's
Do
tan.
the spaghetti strap,
Oh man. But I'm super excited. I'm so tired. I've been on the road as well. I don't like to wrap it up too early, but we're about 45 minutes. I can't thank you enough for making it this week. I'm sorry you
Yeah,
weren't
thank
able to make
you.
it
Sorry
last
about,
week.
before. So I'm definitely
Oh,
excited to be here tonight. So
well, I'm looking forward to seeing those garden gnomes all painted up. I want to see a
yeah.
bloody disgusting one. And Karen's obviously seeing you because she travels to a lot of cons and a big fan of them. So I got to see him in person.
Yeah, I can't
See what
wait.
you're bringing. Yeah, I'm excited for it. And yeah, so what's your next con? I know you're in Scarefest. This
Yep.
is my mudda. We were just talking about you. I was telling everybody how excited you are for the shows, and she'll be at Scarefest, Nightmare Vixen, and also in Memphis. So you get to meet her twice, Ma.
Yay. Yeah, I'll be in Atlanta for Days of the Dead this coming weekend. And then next weekend, I believe it's Spooky Empire in Orlando, and then Scarefest, and then I get to a little break, and then
Leave for a week.
head to Memphis. So I'm excited. I've never actually been to Memphis, so I'm excited. This is the first time going out that way. So
I've been through Tennessee, but I haven't been through Memphis, I don't believe. So I'm excited to go and check it out too. I mean, I'm looking forward to all the people I've met, that are coming, that like yourself, who's been on the show. Some old friends I know that are going to be there. My mom and dad, of course, Jamie, and getting to meet him and his family and the newborn. And I mean, it's going to be fun. I think it's going to be a fun family weekend for a lot of people. 20% off the next few days, guys. For
Promo code SPOOKY when you check out.
Spooky. It's spooky season. Book
Spooky
your tickets now. 20% off. Already great deal on tickets, and another 20% off. You can't
and
beat
free
that.
parking.
And free parking. That is something that we need to talk
That's
more
such a
about.
big
Free
deal.
parking is great.
Oh, and
Great perk.
mention is kids 10 and under are free.
Oh, 12 and under are free?
10 and under.
10 and under are free.
10 and under, awesome.
Very, very cool. So, Jamie, you're doing it right. You're bringing in you got another great person coming. I know you guys have talked before, but I'm excited to see another one of these fantastic vendors that you got coming to Memphis. It's going to be a cool time. Everybody seems great that we've had on and talked to already. The guests are great again, like we talked about, and it's going to be a good show, guys. November 9th and 10th. Be there, be square. See Nightmare Vixen. Check out Jamie Wright. His autographs are on sale that weekend for $75.99 plus tax. So you might want to hit him up. He might give a 20% off coupon before the event. So keep your eyes open and follow Memphis Monster Con. And tomorrow night, we have a show. We got Freddie Doo. He's been in a whole bunch of, he's been in a lot of movies, from Others to Nightmare on Elm Street 4 to Freddy's Nightmares. And he's experienced a lot of things behind the scenes. He did the Freddy glove in part 4. And I was talking to him for a little bit. And it's going to be a good show tomorrow. I call him Freddie Doo, but that's not his actual name, but that's his name on Facebook. It's my God. Well, we'll call him Freddie Doo. It's Radinsky. I hope I'm not saying it wrong. Rick Radinsky. I'm so bad at names, but he will correct me on my pronunciation. That's tomorrow night. Thursday night we got a show. Saturday night we got a show. So just tune in. Take care. I'll keep you guys updated. Thank you, Jamie. Thank you, Nightmare Vixen. Thank you, chat.
Thank you.
Peace.